Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
And let's talk about what lessons about.
Let's hang out.
And let's listen to 2 lesbians shout.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out.
Let's do it then. Lee, you can kick us off.
Oh, am I kicking us off with what? Wait, what? You didn't plan this.
With it says hey everyone on the.
Well, yeah, that's the part we're recording later.
Okay. So just all right, but what about the we are so excited?
I like this intro better. The panic.
Oh my god!
This is, I love
fun.
that. I love that.
Hey
That's
everyone!
the better intro.
Welcome to a live show that is so clearly well thought out and very rehearsed and planned, and has definitely an outline somewhere that we're following because we know what we're doing. We are all professional podcasters.
Absolutely.
It does have
Lee
an
Holmes
outline.
Foster.
I'm
It
Ellie,
does have an outline.
and I'm Ellie Brigida, and I made the outline that Lee is ignoring right now.
I'm getting to it. You didn't let me introduce myself. I'm introducing the evening first, but I thought I'd start with me because I'm more important. No. So, hey, welcome everyone. This is our Holigay Live event, which is a joint event with us from Let's Hang Out and also Bad Queers. Do we want to go around and introduce ourselves? Is that what makes more? Now can I introduce myself?
Now you can introduce yourself.
Or do you want to introduce yourself first, Ellie?
No, it's okay. You have the floor. I will give it to you.
Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm Lee Holmes Foster. I am the West Coast half of Let's Hang Out, and I'm just so excited to be here and tell you all about who I am, and apparently nothing else tonight. That's all.
I'm Ellie Brigida. I am the East Coast host of Let's Hang Out, and I'm also excited to introduce myself. And here are our beautiful guests / co-hosts. So, Chris, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Chris Chesson. I am the co-host of the Bad Queers podcast, also West Coast based, and excited to go through these holiday films.
It's going to be amazing.
That's all I had. I'm sorry. I didn't really have a cool intro. I was like, I panicked. I panicked. It's all right.
I know.
I panicked.
Just passing the panic energy to everybody.
Yeah, you felt it.
I'm sorry. I started us off badly.
Look at
It's
you,
all on
Lee.
me.
Yeah, it's
It's
okay.
all
Look
on
at
me.
you.
It's all right. It's okay.
I'll just round it out. I am
Yeah.
Shayna Summers. I am the other half of the Bad Queers podcast, and I am also on the West Coast and super excited to be joining you all for our Holigay Live today.
A Holigay Live where we've also raised money for the Black Trans Advocacy Coalition, and we have raised $140, everyone.
Thank you.
So golf claps.
Yes.
It's a podcast. Don't want to blow out the mic, but you know. But that's exciting. We're super excited to have everybody here. Also, it's very weird doing Ellie and I record a lot, and we haven't actually really done like a live Zoom show yet. So this is like fun to have so many more people here, and there's no added pressure whatsoever.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. No, it's going to be a blast. We're so excited. So I feel like we're going to kick it off by talking about our favorite holiday movies in general. I'm curious, what are the movies that you always watch around this time of year? Let's kick it off. Shayna, what's your favorite movie? Like, holiday season starts and you're like, I'm going and I'm doing this thing.
Honestly, it is this Christmas.
Okay.
Idris Elba with his
a good
little
one.
guest appearance and those things. But it's one of those where not a lot of people have heard of it, but if you've heard of it, you are just in it to win it every year. And on top of that, if I don't watch A Muppet Christmas Carol, those are like the two extreme opposite ends of where I watch things. But those are the two that like have to be watched or else I can't celebrate.
That makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Why does
And
that?
I take that as a
I
compliment.
know. I'm
friend.
like, why does
Yeah,
that?
no,
Why does
Yeah, I
that
know.
make
Tell
Thank
us
you.
more, Chris.
You know, she's covering all bases. There has to be some musical element in there. So that
It's
absolutely
okay.
makes
We'll
sense.
hear about your
Yeah.
made up rules later. It's fine.
What
What's
about-
funny is that I come from a musical loving family. Like my sister loves musicals. I think my mom does, but I don't care.
Wait, did anyone time how long it took us to get to Chris doesn't like music? Should we
Record.
Yeah, is
Did
that
you
part
start
of
a
the drinking
pool?
game?
Should we
I was going
start
to
a
put it
pool?
as my name. I was
was
going to
a record
rename myself
This moment.
musical
Record.
hater and all that, since it's such a affront to the queer community. But my 3 movies that I always watch, just since I'm talking, is Diva's Christmas Carol with Vanessa Williams. That is my favorite. It came out in 2000. It is actually kind of a musical, so y'all will probably hit me on this, and I'll tell you why it's okay later. Home Alone,
Made up
both
rules.
of 1 and 2 is fine, and then Die Hard is absolutely a Christmas movie to me.
Excellent.
So.
Nice, nice.
What about you, Ellie?
For me, I always start with the classic. White Christmas is my favorite Christmas movie ever.
That also has to be watched.
Yeah. My sister doesn't live in the U.S. Actually, she lives in Nicaragua for most of the year. So I wait for her to come home. And like the day she comes home, we watch it together. And it's like our thing together. The song Sisters, of course, like we like choreographed it, learned it when we were kids. And it was like our party trick that we would do. Like every party, people would be like, do the Sisters thing. And we'd be like, yeah, we'll do it, of course.
You're like, no, whips out a fan.
Yeah,
Right.
like, yeah, exactly. No, I have the blue fan ready. Yeah. All the costumes. So I love White Christmas. That's my thing with my sister. This is like super random too, but also I really like 8 Crazy Nights. Have you ever seen that movie?
That is so good. Yeah. No, that's a good one.
It's like it's the complete opposite of White Christmas, like so irreverent and like ridiculous, but also a musical. And some of those songs slap. Like they do. They really do.
It's a good one.
So
I'll give it up.
those are my 2 sides of the spectrum of holiday films that I'm watching. What about you, Lee?
I can't believe nobody has yet said any of the old claymation, because those are mine that are like, for me, it is not Christmas if I have not watched I would say specifically Rudolph and Santa Claus is Coming to Town are like the 2 that I have to watch. And then recently, I would say like for Kelsey and I, we tend to always watch Elf. That's like when it's Christmas time and we're like, we want to watch a movie. Like a Christmas movie. I don't know why we always start with Elf. So there you go.
Elf is a good one.
That's a good one.
Elf
That's a good
Elf
one.
is a great one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I
to,
I
like,
forget
kick off
about
with.
Elf sometimes. I don't know why I do, but that's a great one.
I think it's because like it's such like a good movie that you don't necessarily associate it with Christmas in a way. Like it's a very Christmas movie, right?
Yeah.
But, like those other ones are like, yes, Christmas, and then Elf is just like, I don't know. It's also because it's newer.
It's a standalone.
Yeah, it's a standalone.
Yeah.
But it is a great film. Great film. All right, so we have all of these movies. There's one thing that they have in common, which is really sad. No gay people. That we
Not
know.
a gay.
That we know of.
I mean, or at least not that we've covered
Yeah,
and should have been gay yet,
exactly.
because as we discussed before we started recording and let everyone in the call, we have a list of should have been gays that we need to add on of Christmas movies right now. But,
particularly
but yeah,
the claymation ones. So gay.
nary a gay to be seen.
Which is so sad. Why do we think that is? I mean, this year is actually really amazing. Like, we were talking about this before we logged on as well. Like, we basically were like, okay, so what are the movies we're going to watch? And we had a long, long list. Like, it was hard for us to watch as much as we wanted to. But before this year and before last year, we did not have a lot of gay Christmas movies. This is not a thing. Why do we think it's taken so long for this to happen for us?
Homophobia. What? Sorry. I'm sorry. What are we looking for here?
I mean, that's a very obvious answer. You're correct.
Yeah, it's, I mean, obviously homophobia, but I don't know. I think sometimes they don't know how to write queer storylines, you know, like they don't, I mean, it's usually straight writers, and maybe actually, no, there's obviously a lot of queer writers in Hollywood, but I just feel like they don't know how to present that to an American audience, because like Christmas has always been very cookie cutter. Like the formula that they use for these movies are like very specific. And it's like, oh, how could we possibly put queer characters? You can, is what they figured out. You can. You could swap it out. It's plug and play.
We can
but yeah,
wear big, heavy white coats just as
do it
much
all.
as a straight person can, you know?
we could do it all.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
The
yeah.
big city.
The range is impeccable.
You know?
We could leave the big city.
We can
leave the
chop
big city.
wood. We can do everything.
We can be claymation. Like, we can do it all.
Yeah. Right. Imagine their like audience research where they're like, oh my God, they could leave the big city. Like, it's just like, they're like, wow. Like, they could really do this stuff.
I mean,
So-
I do have to say there is something. I feel like Christmas, especially over the last, like, listen, however long our country's been just like slowly like descending into the sea. There there is something to be said for the fact that like Christmas in a lot of ways has also gotten like wrapped up in this whole like war on Christmas, right? Like, and so I feel like there has been this weird bastion of Christmas movies as being like they are aggressively like straight romance, right?
yeah.
Yep.
Like that
Yeah.
is a big part of it, and I think that's who they were marketing to. Like I feel like Lifetime is like, yes, I know, like, you know, Aunt Karen down in Minnesota, up in Minnesota, is gonna love this, you know. So
Yeah.
I can't say that hasn't factored in for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's also like, for me, I feel like there's a thing about Christmas movies in general that is like, and I really do not want to say this film's name, so you know what I'm talking about. But,
please say it. Please say it.
Just say
but
it.
Christmas movies tend to not have any trauma in them. Okay, right? Christmas
Yeah.
movies are all happy and joyful.
I can't think of
and
what movie you're
beautiful,
talking about.
Right? And it's like this magical world where like everyone's happy and things are beautiful. And I feel like people did not know how to write queer characters as joyful. So it's like, even though we've had a decent amount of queer film and like TV shows, the stories that they were writing for these characters were sad. And so like nobody's writing a sad Christmas movie except for last year. And that's why we started with a sad Christmas movie. And I'm so happy that this year we have a lot of really joyful ones that I'm excited to talk about. That's my soapbox of like, Christmas movies are the opposite of what people think the gay experience is, which we
Yeah.
know is not true.
Which
That's-
is funny because it's like Christmas. You're like, yeah, you have a lot of songs. You have like bright colored lights. Like you have, it's a gay
It's
time.
gay.
It's made
gay
for
time
us.
here.
Like,
Yeah.
it is really made for us.
That
It's-
phrase didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, Shayna? Why do you think we haven't gotten our Christmas movies until now?
Oh man. You know, to get the glimmer of what it was last year, and in comparison to the movie that must not be named and A New York Christmas Wedding, to even just have those comparisons and see how the movie that must not be named did so well. And it was like, well, look at that. Classic, pretty femme presenting, pretty stereotypical. Let's get these big famous stars. But then you have A New York Christmas Wedding that actually told a story and a narrative that was very diverse and kind of like a more realistic experience, especially with like how they portrayed religion and everything within that story. But it just like proved in that essence where it was like, oh my gosh, if we're about to get queer films, can we take away the heteronormative, like past racial issues, past Hollywood issues, and just like get rid of them and let us be.
But wait. Are we going to claim A New York Christmas Wedding was also not like trauma heavy?
There's-
Oh, it was
there's-
of course
Come on.
trauma heavy. Both of them were trauma heavy. I'm not saying one was more or less trauma. I was ignoring the trauma factor.
Just one was less white about
there.
it. That's fair.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's basically what it was. It was like, but it better showed like what the reality
give you
of
that
religion
one.
was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
I mentioned nothing about trauma. I was just stating the factors of the thing that was the obvious thing to click on, which everything else you wouldn't have noticed until you watched it. I'm giving you the obvious trailer clickbait of, man, that movie that must not be named got real popular real fast, and we all know the reasons why.
Yep.
Well, and okay, but can we talk about it for a little bit, because I was going to say my follow-up question is like, what do we think changed? No, not about the movie, not about the movie
I'm
itself.
just kidding,
No.
I'm just kidding.
What I was going to say is my follow-up question was going to be like, what changed? Because all of a sudden I feel like this year we have like just avalanche of like people trying to make queer Christmas movies, right? Like queer holiday movies. And one of the things that I do think did change is that movie that shall not be named was, I think, like the most watched thing Hulu ever put out as like an original film,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, and that was when you have to have the one film that comes out and shows that, like, hey, guess who's profitable? It's the same thing with like women's sports.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't until like these last couple of years when people were like home and they made them accessible, and then it was like, hey, guess what? Everybody's watching more of these championships and these finals and these sports games because we're actually like giving access to it. And so now you actually put a film on Hulu and gave it some presence and some marketing, and it's like, oh, look, people are going to watch it. And now people are like, oh, we can make money off of that? Great.
Yep.
You're saying people realize the lesbians are thirsty, like just on all fronts there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, the entire queer community, to be honest, because there's a lot, like a bunch of the ones we're talking about are actually more gay male focused, or we'll talk about the bitch who stole Christmas, which is like all drag queens.
We have lots to talk about there.
So much to talk about. But I would love to talk about the movies that came out this year, because I really have enjoyed a lot of them that I've watched, because they're not trauma informed, which has been like, whoa, like I feel like I just am like, why is the bar so low? But it's also exciting. And the first one I want to talk about that we all four have watched, because we tried to do, at least all four of us have watched a few of them, and then it's like maybe like 3-2. This is the one all of us watched, which is Single All the Way. It's on Netflix. Everyone can watch it now if you haven't seen it yet. What are our thoughts on the movie?
What was your cry count, Ellie?
Oh, I cried so many times. I cried so many times. Like, it was wild. It was so cute. Like, it was
a cute
so
ass
cute.
It was a cute movie.
It was actually real cute.
It was so cute. So I guess.
Wait, can we do?
We should do a brief synopsis of the film.
Well,
right?
yeah. Should I just read the thing for anyone who hasn't seen it?
Yeah.
For anyone listening who hasn't yet seen Single All the Way,
we're about to spoil it for you
right away.
We're about to spoil.
We're going to spoil everything.
Just letting you know.
Here is the IMDb synopsis. Desperate to avoid his family's judgment about his perpetual single status, Peter convinces his best friend Nick to join him for the holidays and pretend that they're now in a relationship.
We love it. Fake relationship is such a hilarious trope.
But
that's
it's
not what
really
happened.
a fake relationship
That's not
story,
what happened.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't. So super cute movie. Look, I was like, I had to do a sigh.
I was like,
I liked it.
What's the big sigh, Chris? Why?
I'm gonna be honest, and y'all will, let me know if y'all had a different read on this, but I didn't feel like they had actual chemistry. Like, I felt like at the end of the day, like it was like the family pushed them to be together, even though they didn't want them to, because it was like a lot of call outs to like, they don't have to be together because they're gay. But I didn't think they had chemistry. I felt like it was like well, why not? At the end of it, like they were like, sure. Like it was no chemistry. Like, I think they should have just stayed friends. Like it.
Did you feel like you had chemistry with the gym guy?
You so yeah. I don't even know so much with the gym guy either. It was like weird for me because I didn't pick up on it. You know what? I felt like
Shayna's dying right now. What's happening?
There was more chemistry with the family. With is it Peter or Nick? I have it in my notes. Like, I felt like they had more chemistry. Like it just was weird to me because it was like, oh, I love this family. Obviously, Jennifer Coolidge is in it, which is just like scene stealer. But
was it great?
There was no chemistry to me. Like, it was like felt good because it wasn't trauma informed. Like, the family was really accepting, and it was cool to see like the family push to try to get them together. But I was like, should they? Like,
I will say,
I don't know.
I will say, I thought they had chemistry until they kissed.
Yeah, the kiss was not great.
Because I do agree. I was like, yes, it's gonna happen. And then they kissed, and I was watching this movie with two of my queer friends, and we were like, yes. And then they started kissing, and we were like, oh.
Yeah, underwhelming.
Oh, no. That
like, I felt like they got everything right.
Yeah.
Except for that, it was like underwhelming. Whereas like I feel like if they had their queer friends, their friends would have been like, hey, like, don't listen to your family. Like, no. Like, no, y'all stay friends and everything. Like, it just, yeah. And it didn't really have anything to do with the acting or whatever. I don't know what it was. I just didn't feel the sparks where it was like, that was the only thing lacking. I was like, everything else was perfect. I like how the family was. Like, it was feel good. I enjoyed watching it. The chemistry was not there. I was like, I don't see it, but all right, y'all got it.
But it was so stinking cute, though.
It was cute.
It was
so cute.
Yeah, it was 100%
cute.
cute. It was cute.
It was cute.
And I do just feel like, I don't know, like there's just like something about seeing the family was the big part for me, right? Because like you see this movie where like he goes home to his family and they are so about him being gay. Like they are so like, it's not like they just like, they're not homophobic. They're like anti-homophobic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like we've seen so many families that like you see this like generational trauma of homophobia where like, you know, they're like trying to like reconcile their kid being gay. Whereas like this mom was like, my son's gay and I'm reading about it. And I'm
reading a book.
And I'm trying to be better.
The LGBTT.
Yeah.
TTT.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be better. And I'm like, I
have a Christmas drag name.
Yeah.
I'm going to correct everyone's assumptions about the queer community.
Yes. And I loved that they did have those moments where they were like, hey, like they don't have to date just because they're both gay.
Yeah.
But like we do still want them to date because we like them both together. Like, you know, that was sort of like I just really liked that. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like, again, it was like, if I were to give it like a grade, I would say B-, because everything else was fine. Like, it was just like, this was enjoyable to watch and everything, but it was just like them as a couple. I was like, y'all are forcing it. Like, it is.
I mean, I felt the same way
this.
for the guys that they like set him up with too. It was like, here's this average guy pulling in thirst traps.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how is that happening?
The one who was cheating on him, I felt like they had something.
They did.
Or not who was cheating on him, the one who was cheating
married.
with
him.
Yeah, the married one. Yeah, there was actually chemistry there.
There was actually
which
chemistry
is sad.
there. That
So
part,
sad.
yes, that was the one that I like agreed with. But then I was like, oh, we're gonna go and find this for our little average Joe here. We're gonna find this super hot trainer guy, and then this beautiful chocolate man. And he was able to pull both of them and choose between both of them. I was like,
the best and most accurate line in that entire movie is that Nick is a 10 and Peter's a New Hampshire 10. I was like,
my God.
I mean,
at least they acknowledge it.
You could not have nailed that casting.
That was a perfect
anymore.
line. Yeah.
Like,
somebody in the writer's room said, I'm just gonna put this in here real quick, and the people were just like,
yeah,
okay,
that tracks. It tracks.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
like the director heard it and was like, we're not taking it out.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
I just was really happy with it though in general, like as an antidote to the film that must not be named.
Yes.
Like if I
it was a great start.
If I watched the film that must not be named, like I would want someone to put that on for me after, like so I could recover. That's like
exactly
how I feel.
Yeah. And I'm glad because it's on Netflix. Like I think that's a good film for non-queer people to see and be like, oh, okay, like
yes,
that's cool. Like this is how you should act as a family and all that. So like
storyline that anybody
covered all the bases.
Also, I'm curious because as you say that, the other question that I have is, do you think some of the lack of chemistry was on purpose? Like, do we think it was a little sanitized to make it like accessible? Because I do feel like if you're gonna talk about, hey, straight people, come watch a wholesome queer film, like there's not much that straight people could really get up in arms about in this movie, right? Like, I mean, come on. I
will say, if Netflix did that, they ought to be ashamed, because what the other things you have on your platform, you ought to be ashamed if you tried to sanitize it, because Netflix really does. And like for the comedy special not to be named, like if you're gonna allow that, then you should allow
we're
little
gonna
bit.
Confuse people a lot now.
We are.
Everything shall not be named.
Right. Exactly.
I'm gonna say it just because someone in the chat asked, and I feel like in case any of our listeners are also confused, like it's happiest season, everyone.
Yes, we're talking about happiest season.
It's happiest season.
I was about to.
So yeah, like Netflix is like right. Netflix is too grown to not be like, to be like scared of any backlash. Like, I think, like,
I
at
guess
this
that's
point,
true. That's
Netflix,
true.
you know, like, grow up, next Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
you should be fine. Like,
Also,
it's
like,
fine.
I don't know if it was necessarily that sanitized. Like, there's like that whole scene where Nick is like completely shirtless and Peter's like,
Yeah, but he's not like shirtless, like with another dude on top of him, right? Like,
yeah, but there's like, I mean, there's many degrees in between, like shirtless with the
I
dude.
mean, we didn't need to go like a holiday triple X.
Yeah.
We didn't need all of that. We were trying to have wholesome,
Yeah, like it's still
Holiday
supposed to be
content.
wholesome holiday
that
fun.
everybody can actually
Yeah.
watch. And it was even great, like, to be accessible with the teenagers and how they work too.
Yeah,
Like all of the pieces of it put together a great Hallmark level, lifetime level film that like we deserved as a people.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they definitely went safe with it. And maybe, you know, forecasting for next year, they do take another step. Like, I was like, keep taking steps with it. It's okay. Like, you could show us being a little bit more intimate. It's fine. Like, it's fine. So, I don't know. Yeah, but I do think that's a good, that is probably why they sanitize it. I do think they were taking a baby step because they have been putting a lot of promotion around this too. So, like, you know, maybe this is their safe way of stepping out.
Yeah, but I thought it was.
speaking of safe holiday movies, like, someone please finally tell me about The Bitch Who Stole Christmas. Please.
Yes.
I've been waiting so long.
Yes.
I feel like
Oh,
Shayna, you want to do this?
I don't even know where to begin with this film.
It's so
Let's
much.
just say
It's chaos.
that it is exactly what you would expect RuPaul to create.
Yeah.
Exactly what you would expect RuPaul to create. From the names of the towns, we had Mayor Kuntz.
They were in Tuckahoe.
Yeah.
They were in Tuckahoe, yes.
What was the inn? The inn was also called like the Tucked Inn or something.
The Tucked In.
Yeah.
The Tucked In.
Yeah. The names were aplenty. The storyline was aplenty. I want to like jump to the ending, but we'll take you through.
You
So
got it.
basically,
Wait, hold on. Before we do, I'm just going to read I'll read the IMDb
description, thank
synopsis
you.
for this too, just to,
And
you
I
can
will
tell
let
me
you
how
know
good it is, okay?
how
The
accurate
IMDb
that is.
synopsis for The Bitch Who Stole Christmas is: a workaholic big city fashion journalist is sent to a Christmas-obsessed town to dig up a story. Tells me nothing.
Yes,
Got
and
nothing. Nothing
that
to
is
go on.
that is very accurate. It kind of gives that whole Christmas Carol vibe where it's like, oh, she's working too much on the holidays. She's sent off to do this mission to find out this story from this town. She's supposed to dig up dirt from this small little town that's apparently supposed to be like the best of Christmas, but really it's a whole revenge tactic. And mind you, RuPaul is her boss. So RuPaul sends her
As
off
Hannah.
to go, and she goes undercover in this town, and she's supposed to steal this crown. She doesn't know why she's stealing this crown, but instead she finds another story. And so RuPaul is like, well, I'm going to come out here myself. And it has this whole crazy background. But the girl basically goes out, gets this private identity, meets up with in this Tucked In, which, mind you, it is like the level of hotel that you would stay in where like everybody's falling through ceilings every other scene. And she befriends like the town whore and a few other like skeptic, like a taxi driver that crashes into everything and has like committed 3 things of manslaughter within the hour and a half movie and all of this stuff so that they compete in the town's big like Christmas festival to win the crown and save their inn.
Yeah.
But there's just a whole bunch of mess in there. There's this man who keeps taking his shirt off for no
Every
reason.
scene.
For absolutely no reason. Her name undercover is Maggie Zine, and she's a journalist, but she is a journalist as in a person who makes journals. Not a secret reporter.
Not a writer.
That's in here. But it's also just like very sarcastic as well. Like they'll come back into a scene where like Maggie Zine's character and Shirtless Man are laughing, and they're just like, haha, what are we laughing about? They're like, we don't know. Let's continue the scene and like move on from there. It's just there is so much chaos in this film.
Gay Christmas chaos.
Throughout
That's what I'm
It
getting.
is literally
Yeah.
drag queen chaos
Amazing.
with Christmas on top of it.
Yeah. It's like it has like also like a scary movie energy. Like it's a spoof of Christmas films, right? Like
Yeah,
it has
for sure.
that. It's a complete spoof. So like scary movie energy, but like turn it gay.
Turn it gay with Christmas on top
Yeah.
Yep.
and inappropriate sex jokes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like the musical montages like are just like they don't know why they're singing, but they're singing.
Yes.
And I think the final song is like, it's like something about like you can't spell Christmas without GIRL.
Yeah.
That was a bop, actually.
I will even say that was a bop. That
was a
didn't
bop.
make any sense.
Their
but it
version
was
of
good.
12 Days of Christmas, though, where they took it
yeah.
as like dominatrix.
That was a lot.
That was impeccable.
Yeah.
It was impeccable. And notice the way that we are describing this, where there's a town whore, there's this whole like 12 Days of Christmas remix. There's this man whose shirt just comes off at every moment. You have Mayor Kuntz, whose full last name was actually Your Kuntz. But she changed it to fit for the mayor. Like all of this stuff that happens, you're just like, I don't understand where the storyline falls. But the biggest plot twist for me was at the end, when I'm totally spoiling this for everybody. And I just wanted to let y'all know it's happening again.
Spoiler alert.
The spoiler point at the end where RuPaul comes back to town, puts Maggie Zine off of the scent so that she can write a whole different story. Because apparently RuPaul's character is sisters with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And she got embarrassed because the corset she was wearing over her pregnant belly, which was apparently carrying Maggie Zine, aka Hannah.
I don't know where.
But it is a white woman.
Yeah,
That
I didn't
was the part where
get.
they're
I was like,
hanging
all right.
onto a tree. RuPaul is trying to escape with the crown so that she can have money for this magazine because, you know,
Print
paper print is
journalism
going
is
out of
dying,
style.
yeah.
And so she's
Print
trying to save
journalism
it.
is dying.
And she tries to escape, and Magazine climbs up the tree to stop her from getting into this helicopter. And she's like, I'm your mother. And I was like, all right.
Right.
This
yeah.
was doing really well until this engagement that said, you're my daughter. And she literally looked at her, like did that look that was like, I don't really think that's
it's
how
like
it is. But yes.
a plot a la Spice World kind of plot is what I'm getting.
Yes, but to be fair, I think this plot makes more sense than Spice World.
Like there was
a plot. It just is so ridiculous. Like,
I mean, to be fair, Spice World ostensibly has a plot as well.
No, but like you can follow it much more. Like Spice World is like a bunch of vignettes that like somehow sort of make sense together.
Fair.
This is a movie that like makes sense from beginning to end. Like they're the point of it is that they're trying to like win this pageant, and there's like the underdog queens and then like the housewife queens, and they're competing against each other, and like there's like, you know, there are story touch points. It makes sense in only the way that this film about Christmas drag queens makes sense.
So like if I upgrade us from Spice World to like Pussycat Doll, yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to give myself a touch point. I'm the only one who didn't watch it.
I will say that you have to suspend a little bit of just like it's
very silly, yeah.
It's very silly. Like it is a lot of layered jokes and everything. Like it's super sarcastic. It is like, yeah, like they are mocking Christmas in a way, but it is a storyline with it. Like again, I did at the end where it was like RuPaul turned out to be the mom. I was like, all right, like y'all, that is a tad too far.
Everything else
Like,
that we had
was too
in this
far.
film, that was the one that was too far.
That was
where
too far.
I said that's enough.
Yeah. That's enough. But it was fun to watch. It was a fun watch. Like it was silly. Like the jokes are funny. Like, you know, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I'll give it a B+.
Okay.
Because it was fun.
Same.
Fair.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. Like if you just like dive into the fact that this is like it's all a joke. Like it's a huge joke.
Yeah.
The entire
It's a great
film.
It's a great like wine and friend watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I actually
great.
watched it on Saturday night, and it was like I opened my little cider, and it was like I already 5 minutes into it, I was like, oh, I got it. Like like you said, like scary movie and everything. Like it's like, oh, it's that kind of movie. Like I saw what was coming, and I was like, okay, I'll suspend, you know, whatever with it. Like I didn't. Yeah, I was like, okay.
It's very, very.
I'll roll with it.
Very
with
silly.
it.
Very silly.
Yeah.
I also loved that RuPaul like was green screened into the film, I believe. Did you notice that?
That's what it looked. Okay, I was wondering because some of those backgrounds looked real fake.
So
and I just didn't understand because it looked like there was a bunch of people in real places and then RuPaul.
Wait, like the whole movie,
like
the entire
face,
movie.
Yeah,
the face,
most of it
definitely like looked like it was like Zoom clear face filter on like 10.
Yeah.
And then you could see some of the backgrounds and you were just like, okay, so
did
RuPaul?
Yeah, the particular scene that was really cracking me up was towards the end where everyone's having a dance party, right? So they're like, we saved the town, and everyone's dancing, and RuPaul's supposed to be in the scene, but like you never see RuPaul like standing with everyone. You just see like RuPaul sitting in a chair dancing with like a green screen behind them.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
So,
Again, but it made sense for the movie
so
because it was
true. I
just
didn't
so
put that
ridiculous. That
together
movie
at the
was
time.
ridiculous.
Listen, if Orphan Black can figure out how to make like 5 Tatiana Maslanis dance together in a room, like you can figure it out.
no, I think that was the point though. Like I think it was also part of the joke.
Yeah.
I feel
That's
like
insane.
it had to be an intentional thing because
That's just insane.
And then just when if you watch it, which you really should, I think you should,
when
'cause
you
it's
watch
so ridiculous and funny. That just look out for the RuPaul green screen. You will not be disappointed.
I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah. Lena, I'm not sure where it's going to be showing in Germany. It had it on a bunch of weird like streaming sites, even for us in the US. So I would just Google where you'd be able to like access it. It initially aired on VH1, and then it's on all of these streaming sites that we really have not heard of, but they have good free trials.
I feel like after the Christmas season is over, they'll probably have it available somewhere to buy, like, or to rent.
Yeah.
But I think for now they're trying to like boost people paying to watch it on VH1. Yeah. Also, I'm like, what were you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of other things that are behind a paywall, should we dive into 12 Dates of Christmas?
Do it, because I'm just living vicariously through all of you.
Yeah.
right now, so.
Y'all tell us about that because I've seen it, but
The
tell us
12
about
Dates
this.
of Christmas. First off, do not watch season 1. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
First off, I didn't realize there were 2 seasons. Found it out. Don't watch season 1. Just go ahead and skip right over to season 2, because in season 2 we have this beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, wonderful, hi girlfriend, I love you, person on 12 Dates of Christmas that is out here seeking dates. And then we have another gay man, so it's just like the gays take over, and then we have like this one white guy, and basically they have set up this dating scenario that you're getting 12 dates in leading up to New Year's, and the hope is that you will be at the top of the Empire State Building with the person that you've met. You've brought them home with you for Christmas, and now you've made it to the end and are hoping to find love.
12 dates with the same person?
No. That's the chaotic part.
Okay.
This is literally what they have done for us this year, is just brought in queer chaos. Because as you're going through each of these dates, you start off with like 3 people, but at any point, someone can just show up in costumes or acting as other people, and they interrupt the dates.
And somebody literally showed up as a bear. Like, they're really leaning into gay shit. Somebody came in a bear costume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
So it's like, yeah, so you're out and you're like,
a beautiful gay man in a bear costume.
We're wine tasting out in the snow, and then this person in a bear costume just like pops up, or in like a snowman outfit and pops up, or is
And then
cleaning
do you
the
take
pool.
over the date, or do you like, now you're dating 2 people at once? Like,
Here's the thing. The rules don't exist.
oh, great.
Because
great.
they can ask the person to interrupt the date, but the person can absolutely say no, and now you're a throuple.
Yep.
Oh.
And that happens.
And this is on
many
HBO
times.
Max, right?
HBO
Yes,
Max,
it
yes.
Is there a limited number of people total, or do they just like keep adding more people? Like,
Usually it's like the max was 3 each. So
Okay.
each of these people at the max had 3 dates each, because every week they're kicking someone off. So like they kick people off, and then someone new would come the next week.
Oh
So
my God.
like it was really stressful to be the people towards the end, I feel like, because like you couldn't, it was a lot. I also want to say, okay, I want to ask you who have not seen this, keep in mind, there are 2 out of 3 of the leads, okay, are queer. I'm going to give you some scenarios. I want you to tell me if you think it happened on the season.
Oh my God, this is great.
Okay.
I love this game.
All right. So here's scenario 1.
wait, on the previous season, there were no queer people.
No, there was a gay guy.
There was a gay guy.
Yes.
Okay.
And so season 2, was there a queer woman?
Queer woman
and a gay guy
man
and a straight guy.
Straight guy. Okay, so I'll give
Got
you
it.
all these scenarios. You tell me if you think it happened during the season. Okay,
I gotta keep my face.
2 contestants made out with each other
Wait, two of the contestants
that were competing for love.
that are competing?
Yeah.
You said there was 2 queer people that happened.
Yes, of course that happened.
Okay.
All right, ding, ding, ding.
It's like
that happened.
that's a Friday
All right.
night in any queer club. Like,
Yep. 2 contestants fell in love and became a couple that were not the main characters.
They're called leads.
Yeah, the leads. There's 3 leads and then everyone else. Okay, so
Okay.
2 people who were not the leads fell in love and became together.
ooh,
Last season.
I don't think that happened.
It happened.
This
names.
season?
This is chaos.
Yes, their
This is
names
chaos.
are
Yeah.
Jean Paul and Tom. And Jean Paul literally told Markel, who's the lead, he's like, I'm just not interested in you. Markel kept him on. And then the next week, Tom came on, and Jean Paul was like, oh, I like Tom.
Oh my god.
Oh God.
It was a whole switch. Again, there are no rules. So the contestants don't have to fall in love with the leads. They can fall in love with each other.
Oh wow. Okay.
Insane.
I'm sorry. Time out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is as chaotic as it sounds. This is
Where-
as chaotic as it sounds.
Where do you have to be in life to be on the show? So this is like the goal is to have a date by New Year's.
The goal is to take
what's
these
going
people
on?
home to beat your family. So you pick someone to
For Christmas.
yeah,
For Christmas?
and you've
And then
known
you hope it lasts until New Year's.
and you've known them for like a week before you bring them home to your family.
Oof.
Is that even safe?
Oof. No.
What?
It's
Okay.
chaotic.
All right. Okay.
All right,
I guess.
I have one more for you. One of the leads realized they were still in love with their ex and left the show to be with their ex.
I feel like that happens.
It happened. It happened.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
What is
It
this
was-
show? What is this show?
It was chaos. And so if you are a fan of TikTok as well, and if you've ever seen Hina's TikToks, they're an amazing TikToker. You should follow them. But they are also on the show and they make it to the end. But they are such a chaotic mess. The thing that I hated about this was that for the woman that they had as the lead, she's 33. They kept having her date people that were between 24 and 26.
Yeah, like, why are you
What?
doing this?
Wow.
Really?
Like every person that they brought in was between 24 and 26. And then the people that they brought in that were like 28 were definitely people that were not on her level. Like this woman was a snack. And
Oh, wow.
you knew that like
Do you think she
Hina was
picked
gonna
that?
Be,
Like,
I
No,
don't think
she
so.
doesn't pick her
No?
people. Like they pick
No,
for her.
because all
Okay.
these people
Yeah.
just like continuously showed up. But oh my
But
gosh,
you could,
the
they
queer
might have given like,
relationships.
what are you looking for?
Yeah.
Parameters, no?
Yeah, I would
yeah.
imagine.
Right?
I mean, loose.
Accepted.
I feel like loosely they were like, here are some things that I'm interested in. And then because it was a range of people. For each contestant, it is a solid range. Like even one of the guys, so the guy that went home and then the new guy that got replaced by him, he was there fighting for Markel's heart. And then he ended up being the lead and he got to go and end up dating somebody that like he did not expect to date. So that was super cute and all of these things. But yeah, the queer women relationships and the queer people, because Hina is non-binary, were the most our community ever.
Yep.
Like watching queer women dating each other and then they're all of a sudden like, hey, guess what? There's 3 people here, but now I'm getting feelings for you, but you're not giving me any time or attention. And it's like, she is one person trying to entertain all 3 of you. But then all 3 of them would confide in each other about their feelings towards
Oh
this
my
same
God.
person. And I was
Oh,
like, this
Jesus.
is literally our community right here.
It was
This is all that's happening.
Messy.
when the side, like when the, yeah, I don't know what you call them, but when like the people who were competing for Amanda started like supporting each other, I was like, this is not.
I was like, this is
That's
going down
okay.
for her.
That's
This
us.
is not going to end well.
That's
This
us.
is too much. Yeah, like they
That is
were
so us.
literally
Like they're hooking up on the side. People are making out, and like they're all like, "Oh, well, I made out with the contestant that was here like way earlier." So
that was the mess.
here
That
we
was
are.
the biggest mess because Hina made out with
Hina was
Chrissy on like the
out of control.
second day they were there.
Oh, mind you, they're all staying in the same house.
They
Well,
all
of
lived
course. I mean, of
together.
course.
So-
And it's
Gotcha.
not like, you know how
Yeah.
like
Forgot
I
to
feel like
mention
The
that.
Bachelor's like you know, they have the leads like sort of more like away from everyone, right? Like anyone can go in anyone's rooms they want. Like there's no
At any
rules.
time.
Yeah, at any time. So you would see like they'd just like knock on their door and be like, "Can I come in?" And
Yeah.
so like
There's no maximum amount of time that you could hang out. There was no like, oh, you have to be on these dates. Like one guy got his date interrupted like 2 or 3 times.
Listen, do you know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like a reality dating show that was put together by people who understand what gays want in a reality dating show, which is just absolute mess and
Chaos.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
yeah,
That
I
was
love
it. With a hot tub thrown in.
yeah,
Yes,
That was it.
excellent.
Okay.
A+.
definitely would recommend.
They did it.
Would recommend.
So I
did
feel
it.
like
Skip
For-
season 1, but definitely watch
Watch
season 2.
season 2.
Definitely watch
Okay.
season 2. They kind of made it a bit
Okay.
better organized when they did the whole chaotic dates in the first season. It was really weird because like people, it was almost like, oh, I don't know what to do with my hands, but in every dating situation because these new people would show up. But they did it a lot smoother in the second season, and there was a lot less having to like sit and process their feelings type stuff, which I felt was great because they were just talking in circles and not saying anything in the first season. But in the second season, they like get to it. Like people were, you know, sitting and just like making out at tables, and the other 2 people that they're dating are sitting on the couch directly within eye's view and things like that.
Yeah,
and it's just like, okay, like one of the guys, some of the girls, like at the end when they're supposed to be choosing their one, just like pops out of nowhere and flies out and is like, guess what? I still have feelings for you. And I'm like, y'all don't care about the rules. You could even hear the producer in one of the interviews and she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was going to happen, but said it in a voice that was like, but I'm cool with it. Ratings are going up. Thank you.
It was crazy.
They chose chaos.
Is it
12 Days of
that
Christmas.
important to have somebody home at the holidays? Like maybe it's I know that is a Christmas movie storyline. But
I mean,
is it
did you
that
not
serious?
see Single All the Way? Like his
I
family really
know,
needs
right?
him to be in a relationship.
Very
okay?
true. But I mean, I could for the queer women, like that's enough time to meet somebody in U-Haul. Like that is fun. Like that is enough time. Like a week is enough time. But like, do you have to like have someone for the holidays in that way? Like, I feel like that's so chaotic just to have somebody for the holidays.
It's
just to be like,
cuffing
"Here,
season,
my
Chris.
family."
Come on.
Explaining this to your parents, explaining this to your parents is the show I want to see.
Yeah,
Like I want to see that
Yeah.
show where it's like, no, we met on a dating show. Oh no, there was
week
12
ago.
other a week ago. Like that's the show I want where they're like they'll have questions,
Yeah,
especially
you're
if
like,
you have
I don't know their last name, but they are in your house right now.
Right now.
yeah, like
Ellie, I saw you.
I'm sorry.
Say
Well,
what you need
because
to.
I will just say one of my favorite contestants on the show brought this whole thing up to her partner. This is one of the straight ones, right? And she's like, I really like you, but like it feels sort of like a lot for me to go meet your parents like next week. Like, could we just keep dating like normally? And then like I'll totally meet your parents at a later date. And this guy was like, she's not committed enough.
Oh my god!
Literally.
She's like a normal,
You're not in.
rational
Must be
human.
I
Like,
was like,
cut it off,
open,
cut it off.
honest,
This
keeping the pace,
Got it.
complete
setting
sense.
boundaries.
Like she
Got
makes
it.
complete sense.
Listen, to be fair though, that sounds like someone that is like way too rational to be on
Yeah.
a reality
It's
dating
too
show to
rational.
begin with.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
outta
she did-
here.
She did do the risk to like fly back out and
Yeah.
still be like, she left like a card in his bag and then she flew back out and was just like, oh my God, like I have all these feelings. And he was still like, you know what? I'm going to go for the one that seems like she's a little crazy.
She was so crazy
Wow.
too. Oh
Yep.
my god.
I didn't
You
think he was
got
going
it.
to pick her, but here we are.
Yep,
Here we
here
are.
we
He had
are.
all these feelings
So
and stuff, but I
wild.
feel like some producer behind the scenes was like, you better pick this one.
Yeah.
wow.
The ratings.
So Shayna and Ellie, what grade do you give this? Because I mean, it sounds like the chaos that I would
mean,
want to watch.
in terms of like if you like trashy reality TV,
Love it.
A gives it an A. Like it's
It's
worth.
an A.
It's a
Okay.
trashy
Yeah.
watch.
I give it a little bit of like an A minus because I did season 2, like season 1, I struggled to like sit and be like, I need to watch these episodes over and over. But season 2 was bingeable content.
Wow.
Incredible.
It was bingeable content.
That is
yes.
something else.
I did
And
not sleep
we
very
we
well.
barely
to be
scratched the
honest.
surface
Yeah.
of all the things that happened.
Yeah, it's
I
we
can
barely-
didn't spoil enough for you. Like you definitely could still watch it and be like,
You
what?
didn't spoil enough.
Yeah,
It's like
you could be
that's
like,
wild.
what the hell?
That's-
just
We could
happened?
continue
That's
off
wild.
onto a lot of other tangents, but you just need to see it.
Jesus.
So 12 Dates of Christmas on HBO Max, season 2. Do
Whoa.
not watch season 1. I'm saving you.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh god. Okay, what's next? What are we doing next?
There's so many. All right, so next on our list looks like Let It Snow. which Leah, I think you've watched the most recently.
I did. I watched it last night, and it was super cute. It's a Christmas movie. They're teenagers. What do you want from me?
Oh,
I mean, everyone's seen it, right? Because it came out a while ago.
I have not seen it.
Wasn't,
Yeah, I watched it last year.
It wasn't super recent. It's, I do have to say that, like, when we were watching it, I think at some point Kelsey was like, oh, this is kind of fun if you, like, wanted to watch Love Actually, but, like, not hate everyone in it. Which, like, it is, right? It's kind of the same, like, big ensemble cast. Like, everyone's kind of, like, overlapping stories in one way or another. They're all, like, 17. Joan Cusack is great in it, which was good.
Love Joan.
And it does have like a little one of the relationship storylines was gay and was super super cute, and I was into it. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked it. I enjoyed it.
Where is it streaming?
Cute.
It's on Netflix.
It's on
Netflix. Okay,
it's on Netflix.
Haven't seen it.
It was cute.
I think
Need to write that down.
And I can't remember it very well, so I could be wrong. But was it a little homophobic?
Oh,
It wasn't homophobic. It was that. Well, it was.
One
it
of
was
the girls
coming
was like
out.
one of the girls was popular, and she was like feeling weird about.
It's the gay storyline is there's like the out confident gay, out and like proudly out gay teen who's like, I work at the Waffle House, and then her crush
Love a Waffle
who
House.
they'd like had like one like hangout. They like hung out one time. And then that girl shows up in the Waffle House with, like, her whole dance troupe, right? And, like, refuses to, like, make eye contact, like, just very clearly, like, giving her the brush off, like, in front of her friends, like, over and over again. Until the end of the movie when she's like, you make me want to be a better person. And then they, like, make out in the snow. It's, you know.
It was
That's
real
cute.
cute.
I love that the Waffle House is a character in itself. I am a Waffle House
I
fan,
knew you were
so
gonna
I
say
will
that.
be
the
watching.
movie, the movie actually
moment.
really prominently
Revolves
features
around
the
that
Waffle
Waffle
House.
House.
Really?
It gave a really
Wow.
positive light to Waffle House. Like, that was
Wow.
the cleanest Waffle House I've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah, even though the whole
Wow.
thing about the Waffle House is that it's missing the W in the name, and they're like, if you say it without the W, it's the Awful House. Like, so that's what they call it. But
Oh.
it was cute, and I will say that, like, as someone who, like, was traumatized by Glee growing up, as I'm sure many of us were, like, I'm a sucker for a, like, gays secretly kissing in a bathroom scene. Like, it gets me. So I was like, I'm here for that. I don't know.
True. I don't have too many
Okay,
thoughts
well,
about it
I'll
because
watch
I
it.
saw it too long ago.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, Netflix one with, like, its cute angsty teen.
Oh.
It was
story.
cute
Yeah.
angsty teen.
And
It
it's
was
also
cute
like
angsty teen.
only part of the story, so I feel like we're not gonna have as much as like, you know what I mean? It's like an ensemble, so it's like a small part of the story. are
Yeah,
the gays.
it's not like the
Oh,
major
okay.
storyline, but they
Oh,
mix
gotcha.
it in well.
Yeah.
Well,
Gotcha,
and I
gotcha.
think I will say, if we're just going to continue holding things to the standard of the movie that shall not be named, I will say, like, it's not that we are always against a coming out story, and I'm not going to hold it against them to do a coming out story when they're 17. Like, she's 17 and living at home, and she's like, I'm not out to my parents or my friends yet, and then, like, works up the courage to, like, be herself authentically by the end. And I'm like, that might be a more, like, important story for teenager than it is when you're watching Happiest Season and you're like, you are a grown-ass woman, just, like, come out to your fucking parents. I don't care if they're, like, running for office, like, grow a pair, and what is wrong with you? Like, it's different to me.
Yeah,
It is
when it's
different.
teens, it's different. I
It's
was like, you
different.
gotta
It
have
was
the safety thing comes into play and all that. Like,
Yeah.
you might have to, like, ride it out under
I'm like,
the radar.
listen, we all did that.
We
right?
did our time.
We did our time.
We did our time.
And you had your moments of being like, oh no, what if they'll find out? Like, we've been there, and it's cute,
Yeah.
and you're watching it, and you're like, I believe in you, and then they, like, make out, and you're like, yay, and her whole, like, dance team's cheering in the window, and you're like,
Yeah.
yay, baby gays. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not, it didn't make me sad. Like, let's put it that way. It wasn't,
That's
like,
good,
a
that's
hate
good.
crime on my heart. It was, like, cute little baby gays figuring their shit out, and then, like,
Aw.
kissing each other's faces, and I was like,
We
okay.
love to see it.
Oh,
Great.
Plus, we could do a should have been gay on Tobin and the dude that she's like, I don't know, who's the college guy that she's like, they like go to one of the
yeah.
straight storylines is they're like,
He should've.
oh, there's this college boy and he's like, I'm doing this meditation and like you all seem super cool. He's gonna be a real hit with the ladies in college, and I'm like, I want to should have been gay on those two. Like, I was I was into the two boys together. I don't know. Just me? It's fine.
You're like, there's a storyline there.
I watched it yesterday. It's fresh.
You pulled it.
It's fine.
You pulled it out. It's a thing. You could, yes. Well, maybe it's a sequel that might come out. You let them know.
I'm here for it.
Definitely worth checking out a compilation of the lesbian storyline at least.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, they do not get a ton of like screen time, like which
Yeah.
But
it's an ensemble film. I don't think they got like less than
others.
substantially
Yeah.
less than anyone else. It was just there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
So, I don't know.
Well,
Got it.
if we want to talk about lesbians who get front and center, because actually most of the stuff we've talked about before. So we had Single All the Way, which is gay men. The Bitch Who Stole Christmas. Like, I don't even know like where we're gonna put that on our spectrum, but it's
Drag
not
Queen Chaos.
Everybody.
It's not
Just everybody.
It's
Drag Queen Chaos.
Drag Queen Chaos. It's not lesbian centric. 12 Dates of Christmas had some good lesbian shit, but Under the Christmas Tree is coming out soon, which is
it's so stinking cute.
which is Lifetime's first film that features two lesbians front and center.
Yay.
Which
Lesbians.
lesbians we're here for. So Lee and I got to see a screener, so we have seen it.
Come through VIP.
So exciting.
Right.
It's coming
Executive producers.
officially.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna see your names in the credits,
Something
right?
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
sure.
It's officially coming out on the 19th.
It's actually
so.
starring us. Did you know? Fun.
Yeah. We are both
I
in
knew
it.
it.
I thought it was
I
y'all in
knew
there.
it.
Okay. Got
Yep.
it.
This is actually my costume from the film.
They let you take it home.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I have to pay
You said
them.
I brought my own wardrobe.
Listen, it stars your favorite and ours, Elise Bauman, obviously, of Carmilla fame, and Tatiana Jones. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're both great in it. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Was
don't.
there chemistry?
They
There
have pretty good
is.
chemistry, I think.
They
Okay.
have pretty good
Oh,
chemistry.
good.
Plus,
Good.
it's not even that they. I mean, they do have pretty good chemistry, but it's also just really refreshing to see two queer actresses convincingly playing like queer romance. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it is different. It is
Yeah.
different. And there are times where like you watch like rom-com things with like straight people playing queer characters and you're like, I get it, the dialogue's there, like you're trying to sell like the chemistry of it, but you don't seem gay to me, you know?
You can see through it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And like they both they
seem gay.
they're gay. They're gay.
Yes.
Yeah,
they
like,
gay in this movie. And
verified.
and like that's the thing is I'm like it's not
We
even
give them
just
the
the
gay
scenes
stamp
where
of
it's like
approval.
the two of them. Like you can sell chemistry between two actors. And then every other scene in the movie, I'm like, so you're straight, but like into her? Is that what I'm getting now? Like they are gay even when they're not interacting with each other. They are just gay, you
Yeah.
know? Like in subtle ways, but in ways that you're like, that's what I want to see is like, I want to see a gay at Christmas. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So this starts off, I know I've seen like the synopsis for it, but they like don't like each other at first. And then
Yeah,
they
it's-
grow to like, I love those stories.
it's-
Love
yeah,
it. Sucker for those.
It's like a little bit, yeah, because as Lee's like, because they're like enemies to lovers, but like they don't stay enemies very long.
Yeah.
It's like
enemies
they're-
is strong.
It's like their first interaction is, and like what Lee's saying, like there's like, it's so gay because like basically Alma, who's Elisa's character, she's like so worked up because Tatiana's character, Charlie, has like taken a drone and is like looking on her property at her Christmas tree. And it's like very important Christmas tree to her. And she's like heard the drones and she's like, I'm going to go confront the drone.
yeah, she's being huffy.
The drone person. And then the second she sees Tatiana, she's like, like she
okay.
falls in
Okay.
love. So it's
It is,
like,
it is gay, like blue screen
And
of
that's
death, like 404, a lesbian not found
Yes.
error.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like when you get that match on a dating app and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to leave now.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do with
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, I wouldn't really say exactly enemies because there's like definitely chemistry between them. Even
it's just a little static at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
And there's like,
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah.
a good descriptor.
that is a great description. I like that.
yeah.
a little static. Love
and
a
it
little
is
static.
very it is very Lifetime, like very like it is like city girl, quote unquote, goes like Charlie's technically a city girl and Alma is not, right? So it is like that kind of vibe, and it's
It's
Wow, that's a
Lifetime
trend
in
for
the
this
sense
year.
that it's like there is a plot and it is like it makes sense if you like buy into that being a plot, right? Like, it's a plot. One of them is like, I have to get the tree for the
mayor.
Tree lighting ceremony for the mayor, which you're like, okay,
always a mayor.
Fine,
but like
it's always a mayor.
Yeah,
always a
mayor.
Like, the
Always
mayor's
a mayor.
job is
Well, and
not
it's
more
not
important
even-
unless it's in a holiday film.
It's
The
not
mayor's
even
job
just
is the
like
most important thing.
Local politics.
But here's what's so funny about it is it's like there's a mayor and then they're like, you have to get, like, there's all this pressure from her boss to be like, you have to get this tree. The mayor's up for re-election. And you're like,
Of course.
and needs a Christmas tree.
Like the highest
Sure.
stakes.
Always.
Like if
Yeah.
you do not get this Christmas tree, like the entire like economy will crumble. You're like,
Christmas
a
stories are
Christmas-
so
yeah, it's
crazy
a Christmas
in that.
movie plot in that sense, right? Where you're
Okay.
like, there is a plot. They made it make sense. Like, it is coherent through the movie. You just kind of have to be like, sure. And the plot is like, it is critical that you bring the mayor this Christmas tree for the re-election campaign. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Imagine
Why
losing
not?
because of the tree.
Because
Yeah.
of a tree.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of the tree.
I mean,
Yeah.
Elisa's character's whole storyline revolves around, like, you run a business and they don't want you to have a catalog. And you're like, life and death. I mean, there is no bigger decision in this movie than whether or not you're going to keep the catalog. And, like, if you can buy into that premise, then, like, this is a great movie. Like, it's a Christmas movie plot. What do you want from us?
Love
you
it.
know?
Yeah.
Love it. I feel like they couldn't do anything above the mayor in like civics and
None of
politics
these,
with
you've
Christmas
never seen
movies.
any of these things above
Never above it.
mayors.
Never
But
a
really,
state senator.
They are pushing and reminding us to vote local.
Yeah.
When we
That's
can.
actually-
And that's literally it.
That's
Even though it
the
happens
story.
after election
You know?
season, the timing could be better, but you can't even
The mayor.
even the bitch who stole Christmas has Mayor Kuntz. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
here we
The
go.
Grinch who stole Christmas, isn't it?
Has
Like
the
a
mayor.
mayor in there.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it has
Has
to,
mayor.
has to stay
Everybody
local.
is mayoring.
It's the only time we care about local politics. It's Christmas
really is.
movies. That's interesting. Okay. I'm roped in
I'm
when
glad
it's
that
the
we
mayor.
found,
Yeah.
we found out this fun fact today. Yes.
Yeah.
digging deep.
Wow.
We're really digging deep
Sheesh.
here.
I am so
But
excited to watch this though because it
You
is.
Yeah,
should,
same.
honestly. I
Yeah.
really liked it. I'm super excited to watch it. We're gonna do like a patron watch party, and I think people are gonna like it. Like it is, to me, it is the opposite of Happiest Season. Like,
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, where does it? I mean, obviously, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Happiest Season, and not that
a low
Happiest
bar.
Season is like, it's not bullshit. It's just like y'all could do better than this.
Yes.
Yes.
You know. So yeah, it is
It's
nowhere
not,
to go
that
but
they
it's
up.
had.
not that we want to
the
keep
budget
shitting on
that they
Happiest
had.
Season. It's just that
Yeah.
we're going to.
Yeah, that's actually exactly it. Because I feel like they've gotten
want
better
to.
because of our critiques.
I wanted to like it. I was
Yeah.
excited until I
Yeah.
watched it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
I'm sorry, tangent. Once in
Oh, boy.
Happiest Season, when she decided to recloset herself, I was like, no, shut this down. I was about to turn it off. Like, don't do that. Like, that's the worst thing you could do. Like, it's like, you could go see your family, but I'm not going to like play your friend if I'm like your girlfriend and paying bills with you and all this
That
other stuff.
part.
Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. So, yeah.
No.
I was like,
Not
we've
gonna do
discussed this so much on our podcast.
All the time. Like, stay home. Don't take me
Just
to your family
Stay
if
home
you,
if that's what's gonna happen.
if that's
She
what's gonna
was
happen.
already in the car, Chris.
Turn around.
I know it was true. She didn't get them until they got there. I'm like,
God.
They're
that
like
was-
pulling in the driveway, and she's like, "P.S. I'm not out."
She's like, by
Yeah.
the way, and it's like, no, she had a friend who drove all the way out there. to
We
spend
promised
time with
ourselves
them.
we weren't going
That
to do
friend
this.
We
could've-
promised
Never mind.
ourselves. Look
could've
at
picked her
us.
up, but here we are.
We can't do it.
That means
Okay.
we have to
We don't-
transition.
I'm
That means we have
gonna
to
bring it
transition.
back. Under the Christmas tree is not that. They are both out. There is like same thing, family, supportive, here for it. It's cute. They have chemistry. It's a rom-com, and it's Christmas. And
Oh,
it's
I can't
really
wait to see it.
important that they find the right tree. That's all.
That's it.
You gotta find the right
So
tree.
important.
Okay, so now how does that? I feel like that is, Ellie. The way that you lined this up was perfect because I feel like that is the perfect segue for like exactly what the plot line kind of, not exactly, but kind of what the plot line is for Christmas at the Ranch.
Oh.
Okay.
City, country,
Yeah, city.
Yeah.
country.
And this is
except
on
that it has, like,
Tello?
your savings
It's on
ranch.
Tello. It's on Tello.
What is is it worth, before we even start, is it worth paying for
Yes.
Tello? Okay.
Well, so
All right.
you don't have to subscribe to Tello. You can just rent or buy the movie by itself.
Okay.
You don't need
Okay.
a Tello subscription. And actually, if you have a Tello subscription, you still have to rent or buy the movie. So just rent or buy
Okay.
the movie.
Okay.
It is worth watching. And I will say, because, listen, like, Ellie and I have watched a lot of Tello films, and as people, I mean, listen, all queer people, like, we understand the different production quality standards sometimes with, like, indie productions. Like, we have not held against Tello in the past that, like, you're working with a vastly, like, you're not going to compare a lot of, like Seasons of Love a couple years back to like Happiest Season on a production standpoint. We're comparing them on like the story standpoint, all of this. That being said, the production quality on this was actually great, was fantastic. A plus, I'm going to say production quality wise, I think it is by far the best Tello movie I've seen yet. And I liked I Hate New Year's last year from a production standpoint too, actually. So production wise, it's actually great. I was super impressed, with just everything that they like did, like the filming location looked great and everything. Story wise, super cute. It is very same thing, holiday movie. It is like big city girl who's like the like CEO of a company or something, like VIP at a company, has to like come home, and
they're never mid-level. They're never mid-level.
No.
She's
never
She
mid-level.
went to Dartmouth.
She doesn't come home.
She's got degrees. She runs social media campaigns.
Yeah.
And it's silly in the same kind of ways as like you really have to buy into like, you know, I need this Christmas tree for under the Christmas tree. This one you really have to buy into like how many hours it takes to make a PowerPoint presentation, which I like kind of enjoyed as someone who
they have like
does
Windows
make a lot of
98.
PowerPoints. No, yeah, it was like he calls her up, her boss calls her at one point, and he's like, "Oh, we need to like change all the numbers to like another like 2% higher," and she's like, "I'm gonna have to remake all of these slides," and I was like, "Yeah, you will."
I don't think that's how that works, but okay, girl.
Like it's gonna take you all night long for sure. Like change the 4 to a 2. Like you really have to buy into some of that. And you also have to buy into like they run an entire ranch, and like the entire like LAS people who are like in the process of doing our like podcast financials right now, like they have the entire budget, like income and expenses for a full ranch with like multiple animals and like acres of land, and they have like a little like 2 foot by 1 foot like whiteboard on a wall, and they're like, income is here, expenses is here, and I'm like, dude, we have like way more than that for like our indie podcast that has the 2 of us, and that's it. But sure, I am here for it. You are gonna save this ranch
with
everyone.
a whiteboard.
Like,
Save the ranch
with a whiteboard. Yeah. So it's like it's that kind of, it's the same level of like storyline wise. It's the same cheesy as every other holiday movie we're gonna talk about. What I did wish is my only complaint about Christmas at the Ranch is that I think the 2 actresses actually did have more chemistry than we got to see. Like, they have some moments that they let them lean into together, and it's cute, and like they're flirty and whatever, but like they also had them be super antagonistic for a lot of it in ways that like I think they could have been flirtier more and like a little antagonistic less, because they're both great. So that was my only thing. I wanted more flirting. So Sumi.
We always want more flirting in our queer films.
We always want flirting.
Yeah,
we do.
Honestly, that's an actionable take that anybody who tunes into this later can be like, look, the queers want more flirting.
We want more flirting. I'm like, I'm
it.
here for an enemies to lover, but like I need a little bit more of like the to lover part.
Okay. But it was worth it. Like it was.
I think it was worth it.
What's the grade you give it?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say it hovers like somewhere right around a B plus A minus. Like,
okay, that's good. That's enough to.
I would
high
watch
grades
it
that we're giving
again.
today.
I know,
and I would enjoy it.
I swear to God, the bar is so.
The bar is in hell.
It's low.
The
It's
bar
a
is
low
in
bar.
hell. The
Yeah.
bar is in hell.
The bar is
Weird.
so low that I feel so
in hell.
like ecstatic about these films that we've gotten. I think
Yeah.
you know what?
We're like, look at us not being able to watch all of the things that we wanted to watch because there were so many things.
Yeah,
Right?
and I also
Yeah, there
literally
was
feel
really
like
a lot.
The point of Happiest Season was to make us grateful for this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do feel
We found
grateful.
it.
I
Yeah.
feel for
We
it.
found the reason.
The
Yeah.
real happiest
We
season was the
found-
year
Yeah.
after, you know?
The reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, like I feel like
Yeah.
that was the prequel. And they were
Yeah.
like, We just want to like really piss you off so that like we could make anything we want next year and you'll be like, oh, yes.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I see what they did there. They got it because
It
the
worked.
bounce back
God
here.
damn it.
Well,
They
and
did it.
here's the thing is
Not the bounce back.
okay, with the exception of Let It Snow, which was the oldest one that we talked about today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All of the ones, like everything that has come out since Happiest Season, and especially at least in terms of like the like lesbian movies, like they're out established gays. Like there's not really a question in the movie of like, are you out? Are you, or at least you don't deal with it. Because even in Christmas at the Ranch, like one of them, her family doesn't know, but that's because she like left home and was like, you're not going to accept me. Bye. And then just like pieced out. And so she's like, no, like my family like doesn't, you know, either doesn't know or like does, or like I don't talk to them. And you're like, cool, good enough for me. Like as long as you're not like subjecting us to like, could you please like, yeah, push yourself back into the closet and then like sit through an entire holiday with my family like on camera for everyone to enjoy. Like fine. Fine. You can have unsupportive parents that we do not see or like hear about more than that one like reference.
Yeah.
Sure. That's a real story. That's a thing. Like that's a lived experience queer people still have today. I'm not going to like begrudge the existence of like parents who don't support their, well, I mean, in real life, I will begrudge their existence, but like I'm not going to I'm not going to begrudge them like being in a movie as like a plot point sort of, as long as you're not going to like make us suffer through the experience of it. Like
Yeah.
I feel like people learned. I think people kind of caught on to
have.
like that did not go over well.
No.
Is this a good segue into a Jenkins family Christmas as we're talking about family?
Oh, man.
It is. Shayna, did you see it?
Yes, I finished watching it right before we started recording.
So, happiest season vibes with Black family. With that.
And we all need some diversity in our trauma,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
It really was.
It was.
They did that. They did Homeboy dirty.
They did Homeboy dirty on there.
So what happened?
They did.
So the movie really followed the mom, the matriarch. Like it starts the story with like the grandfather had passed away. So this was like the first Christmas without the grandfather, and the mom in the story was like super like gotta have like perfect everything. I wouldn't say Stepford wife, but like everything had to be perfect for Christmas and everything. And she clearly loved her father. God, this was just so full of drama and secrets. So like not even 10 minutes into the movie, she gets a knock at her door. She finds out she has a sister that she didn't know about. Like her father had another child outside of the marriage and everything. So that happened. And she was like, shut that out. Like, no. So you could see like she was very much about like just pretty strict and everything. Like, okay, that's how she's going to be. The son, whose name is Kenny, brought his boyfriend Logan, and this is a little triggering. With it was happiest season-ish because they both show up, and it's like pretty much don't ask, don't tell from the beginning of it. Like they were holding hands, and like she opened the door, and like they stopped holding hands and everything. She like calls the boyfriend Logan like the wrong name. Throughout, like, because it's kind of ensemble cast, but it was like really following the mom throughout, like with her journey.
I can't tell in the recap right now. Is it aiming for like comedy or is it like a holiday drama?
Oh, it's a holiday drama.
It's a holiday drama.
There are essences of comedy that come through with the auntie. Like, you know, she's the scandalous auntie that comes through. And
does that make it better or worse? Because I will say one of the things I didn't like about Happiest Season is like it was a drama, but it like presented itself as a comedy, right? And like that's what I had a hard time with. Is I'm like, this isn't funny for gay people to watch.
Yeah,
actually.
so it didn't present itself that way. It didn't
I
present
didn't see
itself
the
that
trailer, so I
way.
don't know.
Yeah, no,
for
it
this
didn't
or for Happiest Season.
For Jenkins family Christmas, it did not.
I didn't see the trailer for this.
I didn't see the trailer.
It didn't present as a comedy at all. Like this was a drama through and through.
Does that help at all?
It did. I mean, listen, and not to say that this doesn't happen, obviously, in non-Black families, but this was very on brand for how this would go, because it was like she accepted the boyfriend in, but it was more like, that's your little friend. I felt like the father was a little bit more accepting. The rest of the family was a little bit more accepting of the boyfriend than the mom. And the story really followed the mom and just her, just how like she just held on tight to how things should be. Like she thought her father was perfect. So she immediately shunned, which I thought it was, I mean, it's kind of bad showing up on the doorstep of like, hey, I'm your sister. Like that's a little hard to to swallow anyway. But like, she's just very much like, everything's got to be perfect. Everything has a place and everything. Like the dad, to his credit, who was a preacher, was like holding her accountable pretty early in the film, where it's just like, clearly our son is in love. Like that was like already towards the beginning of the film, like him just like calling her out, where it's like, you got to accept our son. Like he's clearly in love. Like, and your father wasn't perfect and all these things.
Though it never
like,
really seemed like he was in love, but okay.
Yeah, the chemistry was a little low there too.
I
with it,
pull that out there
the chemistry was low on that
one. He really cared. Like they put homeboy in the basement to sleep. The
they
basement
did.
Was not
she was
finished.
like, she lashed
that
out.
was an unfinished basement.
It was an unfinished.
And she put him
basement.
on a couch. It was like the love seat couch. Like it wasn't. And this man was tall. She put him on the love seat couch and said, "Y'all need to curl up."
Yeah.
And the son, he even tried to come down and be like, "Oh yeah," like after mom was like, "Only family in the house. Like you need to go."
Yeah, she lashed out.
And then you never saw the moment where he like convinced her to be like, no, he can stay in the basement. It's fine. He can stay in the basement.
Yeah.
And he goes downstairs and like, it's like this guy has no emotional, like he has no EQ. No EQ because he goes down and he's just like, oh, my mom just completely like embarrassed you in front of the whole family out at our fire pit. And I'm going to come down here and take my shirt off.
Right. He was like, what if we look? He was like, oh, we could play. And took his shirt off.
This really is like exactly Happiest Season vibes.
It is.
Like,
it is.
Even though very similar.
Only bad. He wasn't asking his boyfriend to like play his friend. It was just like, and he was called out early, and it was like the call outs were very early in the film, but it was like, yo, like buck up and like tell your mom like what we are. Like clearly they were about to be engaged and stuff like that. So it was more of like, tell your mom what exactly we are, because it was very much don't ask, don't tell. Like you could, it was like,
because the mom said it at one point where she stopped and was like, look, I don't know what you do. Like whatever you do behind your closed doors is your business, but this is me in my house.
Yeah.
Now go upstairs and put on the sweater that I bought you last year.
Yeah.
Type thing. Like, you know, like that type of energy.
Like she knows they're not friends. She knows they're not friends.
And so it's like, yeah, it definitely follows the story of her trying to like deal with this perfection. And then at the end, it was such a like crazy plot twist because they're all sitting at dinner and the mom had, mind you, so they had tried to have a sermon at their church, but then like a pipe burst and so they couldn't have it inside. So then they're like, oh, well, all you need is, you know, your people here. And so they lit some candles and they held the sermon at the church. But then the dad, who's the preacher, brought the sister up on stage and mom wanted to fight the sister.
Yeah.
And all of the kids, she has 3 kids, and then the niece and her sister and all of that were like, oh my God, how could you? How dare you? All of this other stuff. And so I'm giving you that preface to say, like, fast forward to them being at the dinner table towards the end of the movie. And they all just lash out at the mom.
Yeah, that Christmas
all
lunch
at
was
once,
something
just
else.
out of nowhere to say, like, how dare you for the sister? How dare you? Me and him are in love. And I was like, where was the speech earlier? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They just went to town on her.
Yeah.
And she stands up and gives this whole speech, and then she walks out because the son then, like, at dinner, all of a sudden, he grew a pair.
Yeah.
And, decided to say, like, if you don't accept this, then I'm never coming back, and you have one opportunity to get this right. And so she gets up and walks out of the room. So then everybody thinks that she actually did, and blah, blah, blah. And then she comes back with grandpa's ring and says,
wow,
out of
180.
No, when I tell you the 180 is wild. Okay? The 180 in this movie is, and I was like shocked because it was like happy ending, but it was like the 180 was
the weirdest
wild.
transition to get there.
Like,
the weirdest.
It was like she was like, don't ask, don't tell, to like giving the grandpa's ring for him to propose, like at the Christmas lunch. Like, wow. So it was like, and that's the thing. It was like she treated everybody like shitty with her perfectionism, like whether that was like the daughter who was like, great job, obviously, and everything. And she was like, in her hetero relationship, and her husband had cheated on her, and she didn't want to tell her mom because she, the perfectionism with that. Her sister, who is played by Kim Cole, so what's it called I'm blanking on her name from Living Single, was in there, and she was just kind of free spirited and everything. She was like shitty to her sister, and then obviously the son, where it was like a don't ask, don't tell. The mom just did a 180 in that scene. It was just
180.
Like,
It was,
you know what? I like just
So it's
like a come
a
to
happy
Jesus
ending.
moment.
But
It is.
Yeah,
but it was
at
just
what
like,
cost?
oh, okay.
she gives him the ring
we
and
are.
she's like, "Isn't this what you came here for? Now go propose to that man."
Yeah.
And I was like,
even that was aggressive.
I'm sorry. I was like, you've been calling Logan Larry this entire
the whole time.
You tried to kick him out of your house. You have not acknowledged him. You've basically said that she literally had a line in there that said only family at the house.
Yeah. Which is such a black
the
mom
holidays,
thing.
which I was just like, wow,
Yeah.
that really is a school black parent.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she did that and then made him propose in front of the whole family, and then the movie ended in a group hug.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh my
God.
God.
And then it ended, like, it was like dramatic
Like,
with the secrets, but it ended all right. So it was just like, okay.
You're
all
like,
right.
okay, this was weird how he got here.
Yeah.
And then it fully ended with the sisters going off and driving in this like badass car that we have no idea where they got it from, and zoomed off into the night having fun, and they did prayers and gifts and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like the equivalent of that, but like black church.
Wow.
And oh my God.
In the comments, yeah.
Look, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're
It was
not
terrible.
wrong
It
because
was, the acting was.
I didn't think the mom's acting was that great either, but she did.
Yeah.
Out of
I thought
everybody,
she was good because she was it was on brand for her, because again, she was like the whole movie. She was just like loved Christmas but was grumpy and wanted to be perfect, and it was just like, yeah, it was.
You know who deserved the acting award?
Who?
The sisters whose husband never showed up, and we never got a visual of him.
Never saw him.
Never got
Never
near
saw
one
him.
visual of this man, where she was just like, "You can't do this to me. How dare she?" Was the true actor out of this entire film, because we never saw the ex. We never did like a pan to him on the phone in like some hotel somewhere else. She just kept talking about this guy that was no longer showing up and how she was getting divorced.
What about the lawyer? Because there was a lawyer in this that said that they all, like, again, the estranged sister had to spend Christmas with them to get the inheritance from the father.
Storylines. It
was a little weird.
Also,
it was
the reason.
weird.
Oh yeah, we missed a key point. The whole reason why they were trying to get everybody together for Christmas was because Grandpa apparently had this inheritance that he wasn't going to give them unless the entire family was there.
Got
so the
together.
clue on the entire was that the estranged sister also needed to be there.
Wow.
And
that's
the
how all
mom
of
didn't
this
tell
circled around.
anybody until that like moment at the church, where it was just like she came up on the mic and was like, basically like, I'm the sister and I visited the other day and I was asked to leave. Like, it was just like,
And now she's just calling everybody out.
yeah,
in front
she
of the
called
church.
everybody else, and there was like almost
Crazy.
a fight. So it was just like, if you're looking for drama and secrets with your Christmas movies, this was perfect. It was very interesting, happy ending. There was an interesting scene, and Shana, I want to call this out too, because the sister, with the conversation that they had, because they asked, because this was an interracial relationship as well. So she asked the brother, because the brother was like lashing out against his sister, was like, oh, you never have my back. And I was like, bro, you got to step it up. Like, he just would not step it up, like the whole movie until the very end, where it was like, he just should have put his foot down. But she had asked him why he only dates white men. And he explained, growing up gay, black, and suppressed, you end up idolizing the things you see outside of the closet. So he was saying, I can't see the other gay guys because we're all in the closet. So like all you see is the free-spirited, like, white guys out of the closet and everything. And then obviously he loved his partner and everything. But I thought that was an interesting scene.
That
because
was like
you don't
the
see that.
line of the
It
film.
was really good explanation, because I didn't even see that coming, but it was like a good like line and scene with it. So
what
drama.
you're saying is that guy needed Single All the Way when he was a kid, with like Nick, who's a straight 10.
Being open and out, yeah. Do you feel like that's accurate? Like when you were watching that, did you feel like that was accurate?
I thought that was a good line. Like, I think that
Especially
makes
with-
absolute sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Where
I
it's
think
like,
especially with the church narrative.
oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, you are just fully in the closet, and especially doing like the energy that the mom gave off, where it was just like, behind closed doors, you do you. It's so much a like stereotypical Black family sweeping anything that doesn't look picture perfect under the rug.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can do whatever you want to do, but go and do that in your little house with your little friends.
Yeah. The little with everything too. The little guys to be everything.
Is very important.
The little with your little house, little friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it is accurate. And I do think that for Black gay men that there is that, like, they're seeing this essence of freedom, and that's what ends up happening, and why I think there are so many interracial relationships in that sense, because there is more support and more people that are out acting that way. I also do think there's like other pieces to it, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole nother day.
Yeah.
But I think that is the main solid portion.
I think if nothing else in that film, like, they captured that in that scene where it was like, no, that's spot on, where it's like, yeah, it's just hard. It still is hard as a Black and brown person to be out. And I know for me, like, the first like queer imagery I saw was all white people. It was gay men first. And then when there were lesbians introduced, they were white. So I understood what he was saying in that moment. And then he also was just like, I love this man. Like, he makes me happy and everything. So that is the point of it. But like, yes, like, we can't see each other in the closet. Like, it is still very hard to be out as a Black, especially a Black man. Like, it's so hard for them. So to be openly out. So if nothing else, that scene was good, but it was like definitely happiest season, but it ended well.
I'm afraid to ask, but like, if you give us a grade, where do we rank it?
I would say it was a C. It was a C minus kind of area. Yeah.
Yep. Give it a hard C.
Yeah. Because it ended well. Like, she did come around, because I will say that they called the mom out early and often in the beginning. Like, the dad, who you would have thought wasn't, I mean, because he was a preacher, would be like not with it, but he like immediately knew. He was like, our son is in love. Like, why are you acting like this and everything? So she did get called out throughout the film, but it wasn't until that last scene with the Christmas lunch that like they jumped her basically. Like, they were all
it was so aggressive,
super ready to jump her.
She only let a Viola Davis tear fall.
Yeah.
And then kept it moving.
Yeah.
Beautiful act. The one beautiful acting moment.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And then everybody was just like, okay. Like, it was just like, oh, okay, we're all fine, huh? Like, it was like the sister was okay. Like, group everybody hugs, was okay. Group hugs.
Forced proposal. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting movie and all that, but yeah.
Well, I think we should move into because this is like most of the films that we've seen, right? So let's move into our films that we want to see, because there was one in particular that we were talking about before, so that we couldn't find anywhere, right?
Yes. The Saeed Family Christmas Eve Game, which is a short film, and it looks amazing, but it's not streaming anywhere. You can't find it anywhere. I want to see it. So, and we were talking about this before in pre-pro, like, it's like nowhere right now. It's been on like the festival circuit, and I was like, can y'all put it somewhere? Like, I want to watch it. That movie, and then With Love, and then obviously Under the Tree. I can't wait to see on Lifetime.
Yeah, and there's another one called Every Time a Bell Rings. It's supposed to be on Hallmark as well.
Yeah, which I think you can watch, like, the same way that after Under the Christmas Tree comes out, I think you can watch it like on Lifetime if you have a cable login. I think Hallmark you can watch. I think you can watch the Ali Libras, the Bell Rings. I think you can watch it on Hallmark now. I just didn't have time before.
Cool.
It's up next on my list. Poor Kelsey, who has suffered through so many Christmas movies with me in the last like week and a half.
It's the time.
It's the time.
It is the time.
It is the time.
We are going to talk about some things we liked about this year's movies and what we want to see next year. But I also want to say that after this, we're going to be doing an audience Q&A. So if you have any questions, start thinking about them.
Start thinking about your Q&As, everyone. Get ready.
Any questions you want to ask us about holiday movies, or even if you just have questions you want to ask us because you listen to both of our shows and you're like, hey, I just always wanted to know this thing. You can throw whatever you want in there, and we are here to answer them. So let's start right now, though, with what are the things we liked about this year's holiday movies? We've talked about it as we're going through, right? I guess I'll start, though, in terms of like what I liked. And as I say, low bar is like, I just really want to see more movies where like homophobia isn't the touch point.
Right.
Like, it was so nice to watch these movies where people had supportive families and like the whole storyline was just like, yeah, we're just like dealing with Christmas love, but we're gay. Right? Like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I just want to see more of those, even though I know like stories like A Jenkins Family Christmas, like those are real.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't want to discount those stories. I just feel like I just really like to see more happy stories because I don't know, it's like a wish fulfillment of sorts for people, and I just like that.
And I think that's why, like, we've always loved, like when you have, you look at a production company like Tello and you say, like, here are queer people making queer movies for queer people. And you're like, yeah, because they're like, they're happy, they're uplifting. Like, they are, I think there's a different sense of like understanding, like, what is it that we're looking for in, like, I just want a holiday rom-com. Like, it's that. I want to get away from, like, no one's going to look at Happiest Season and be like, how unrealistic. It's not. That's the problem. It's not unrealistic. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Just, like, it is also not unrealistic to have two out queer people who are just, like, bumping into each other in a backyard somewhere because you were flying your drone in their yard, and then they're like, oh, you pretty, help, my brain broke. Like, that's also realistic, and I'd rather watch that. That's all.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like they're just putting too much with it, where they're like, oh, yeah, it has to be some homophobia with it or some trauma with it. So this year they did step it up in that way, in terms of the films that I've seen, where it's just like, they're fun, except for, a Jenkins Family. But it did end okay. It did land all right. It landed all right.
We made it. It took a whole hour and a half.
It took a while. It literally the last 10 minutes. Literally. But I do want to just see where continue to see that evolve, where it's just let it just be a romantic comedy. It's not so much of an emphasis even on them being queer, because even in Single All the Way, it was just like they had like reminders of like, no, they don't have to be together because they're too queer. Like, it's just like, no, just like let them be. Like, don't even make it a thing. Like, just let two queer people just fall in love like everybody else. Like, it's fine. Or I want to see more queer families as well. Like, I don't have to keep seeing the single thing. Like, let us see some other, kind of like queer families, obviously more diversity. I don't know what it is, but there is, and this is no knock to anybody, but like the interracial couple thing, like you could have outside of like Black and white families. Like, I want to see some different interracial couples. It is fine to stray away from that. Like, let's see just different.
Syed family.
That's why I want to see it. Yeah,
like, it's a Muslim woman and a Puerto Rican woman.
Exactly.
Like, yes,
that's why I'm excited. But I want to see that. Like, I want there to be diversity. It doesn't have to always be a Black and a white partner together. Like, I want to see them to continue to develop that, because I just want to see how, those scenarios go. So hopefully they just kind of continue with that, where they just like make them normal, like, so we'll see. I am proud of this year being just full of queer movies to see. So, yeah.
I mean, look at how many things we just had to talk about. Like, it's crazy.
Wild.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Right?
Man.
Like, what a year. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have nothing to talk about. So
now
here
we have too much to talk about.
Wait, can you remember, because it was, I think, our first season of the podcast, Ellie, and we wanted to do something around the holidays for like a Essentials, and we landed on Carol. Carol was the closest we could come up with to a queer holiday movie. We were like, well, it happens at Christmas.
Some Christmas
There's
stuff in there.
snow. Like,
it is Christmas time.
They're buying presents. You're like, it's not a Christmas movie, But like, that was the closest we had when we started this podcast. Like,
yep,
that's bonkers. I mean, we've come a long way. That's
and here
that's
we
all
are.
I'm gonna say.
They're listening. They just got to keep developing it. Like, want to see some depth. Yeah.
Agreed.
Sure.
Shayna, did you have any thoughts, or you were just echoing Chris's?
I mean, yeah, I agree with Chris's for sure. And, I just want to continue, as much as like Lifetime has all of its series of cheesy Christmas films, I want us to have a variety of cheesy Christmas films or cheesy holiday celebrations of all sorts. I want to see the variety of things that we can have. I love the family element. I love the different stories element. I want us to be the ones that have to support our straight friends and not vice versa. And us having to like find them. You know, I want us to flip the script a little bit and have more of that where it's just like intermixed into the story. But yeah, I'm really happy that we do have more to watch, and now we can add things to our list to continue watching. And I hope that we also get it in more accessible places and not just hidden behind some of these apps that we've never heard of before. I want it to be in more accessible places.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult for us to like find the web.
And that's
of
what we had
all
to
of
like
these.
tag team. Like some of us were like, oh, let's go search here,
Yeah.
do this, or who was willing to get the free trial. Okay, great, you do that and explain it to us. And we want to be able to have it in like accessible places too.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
say
but-
on the list of like what did we like about this year's movies, besides just like the queer joy of them, one thing I do also want to call out is, especially for me with like Single All the Way for sure, and I would say Under the Christmas Tree too, is actually like the scripts were great. Like Single All the Way was funny. I mean, it had
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
was
like
so
good
funny.
dialogue. I think Under the Christmas Tree had like some lines that really stuck with me. Like, they're funny. They were good writing, you know? Like, I feel like we're getting like better movies right now too, you know?
Mhm.
Like, because I mean, yes, they're cheesy Christmas movies, but like you can still make them funny. And I'm
Right.
here for
Yeah.
it.
Agreed. Do we have any audience questions? You can throw them in the chat. I'll give you a minute. If you don't, that's okay. We also came prepared.
Also, wait, while you think of that, I have one more thing that I want to throw into the mix of what do we want to see more of in our Christmas movies. And like, I'm so sorry, Chris, but like, I need a music.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's all I'm gonna say. Like,
Wait,
I
but
want
didn't you say?
But yeah,
Christmas
I
songs
was
were
like,
fine,
okay,
Chris?
yeah, I
Listen.
should. Christmas songs are fine because
I want
Christmas has Christmas caroling. There is
Mhm.
music involved.
Mhm.
It's fine. I will allow for a musical
All these
element.
made up rules.
Again, no, it's not
All
even a made up
these
rule. Like, because
made
if
up
you were to
rules.
tell me, like,
This
just
is
like,
like, no
hey, if
musicals
someone were to walk up to me, hey, do you like
no
musicals? I would
musicals
say no, but
except-
it makes sense in a Christmas film because like music is a big part of like Christmas. Like there
It
is literal
is.
caroling.
And I want them. And we're getting
So.
closer because, like, I'll be honest.
Prom
So,
was good.
Christmas at the Ranch is not a musical, but they did put a lot of like focus on the soundtrack for the movie. There's a lot of like montage scenes because they had songs. Like Dom wrote a lot of songs for the movie and stuff. So like they do have a fun soundtrack. I Hate New Year's, which was Tello's last year holiday movie, was closer to a musical, but it was that like both of the characters are like pop singers. They're like singers, and so they like perform a lot, but it wasn't like a musical, like Ellie knows what I mean when I'm like,
Yes.
it wasn't a musical. They're not being like, I'm singing my feelings. Like I want
Yeah,
that.
I
I
want-
want
and that is it.
Yeah, like
that
I-
is
I
and
need it.
that's it, Lee. Like I don't want you to
Yeah, I
sing
need
your
that.
feelings
I want
outside of
it.
a Christmas film. Like I don't want you to sing your films, even though Prom was good.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
see you, Chandra, you're like, Prom was good. Prom was good. I'm not
That's-
saying musicals suck. I just say I don't prefer.
No, I want everyone to
heavy-
sing their feelings at all times, preferably.
like a,
Please don't.
like a queer White Christmas. Like White
Yeah,
Christmas is
yeah.
a musical. Like they literally like I mean it is similar to I Hate New Year's in that like music is a part of it because they're performers, but they also do just randomly burst out into songs sometimes. Like the best things happen when you're dancing. Like why are they singing and why are they dancing in the street? And it's
because-
so good.
But that was like what?
Oh, it's the best scene ever.
That's always
That's
what
what
I
I'm
ask.
saying. Like it's not
Like
like
the best one.
yeah.
But some of those scenes in White Christmas, I was like, I don't know why we're here.
Yeah.
Like the one where he was doing the one where it was like a
About sleeping.
performing art, type,
I love that
whatever.
song. Yes.
and I'm just like, why are we
Choreography.
why?
It's so weird.
Why is
it's
this
such a
happening?
weird song, but I love it.
Didn't understand why it's there.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but
But I love the best things happen while we're dancing.
Yeah. All right, so we do have a question in the chat, so I guess we can all answer this. This is from
I know,
Kayla.
I went in to go and like look at whatever other
Hi, Kayla.
classic Christmas movies.
If you could make any classic holiday film queer, which one and who would star in it?
And who would star?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I feel like my answer I just said, like not even on purpose, but White Christmas, make it gay.
But who would you
So
cast
good.
opposite you in it, Ellie?
Yeah, and I'll star in it. With that's a good question.
I have my answer.
Who would be opposite? I don't know. You have your answer, or you have who would star in White Christmas?
Oh no, this would be. I mean, who would star opposite of you? Who would you? I don't have your answer for you.
I don't know. Jasmine Savoy Brown. Yet again,
Amazing.
because I love her.
She is a delight. There is that.
That's it.
What's your answer, Shayna? What is it?
Okay, I don't know if this is like classic, but it throws back to the 90s, so I'll take it. I want a preacher's wife to be queer.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Oh.
See, the fact that I got that reaction out of you might not be
Whitney. It's Whitney.
It's Whitney.
It's
And
Whitney.
Whitney deserved
What's the cast?
a queer
It's
film.
Whitney. It's Whitney.
Whitney deserved a queer film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the
I don't-
bodyguard though. I'll take a bodyguard. But go ahead.
That would be good. That would be good.
That would be good.
Who would play opposite Whitney? And also, I would still want Denzel to be the angel because he gives me gay vibes. I would want Denzel to be the gay angel.
Wait, Denzel gives you gay vibes?
In
Denzel
that
Washington?
film.
Oh,
In
in
that
that film.
film.
Okay,
In
gotcha. I just
general.
saw it in general.
Why were you getting so offended for him?
No, I just wanted you to explain. I was like, Denzel?
that vibe, Dudley
Maybe.
could have absolutely been gay.
You said who could have?
His name was Dudley. He was the
Oh,
angel.
okay.
Did
yeah,
you
yeah.
not watch
okay.
this film?
Yeah, okay, gotcha. No, I didn't know if you were saying Denzel in
Shalay,
general.
If you're still here,
So-
please make her rewatch this.
So,
Thank you. Please and thank you. Yeah, I don't know who would play opposite her though. I feel like there's a lot of good. It would have to definitely be like somebody 90s who was like prime then. Like I don't know why I keep thinking Whitney, but Whitney is not the person for this.
yeah, I was like, it can't be
or-
Whitney. Rest in
No, not
peace.
Whitney. I meant Queen Latifah. I was like, I keep thinking Queen
Oh.
Latifah. I'm like, not Queen.
Really?
I don't think so. I don't think.
You don't
it'd be
think like
her.
a Janelle Monáe or something?
Yeah, but for like that time. Janelle wasn't
Listen,
ready
give
for
me
Whitney at that
give
time.
me a gay holiday musical with Queen Latifah and Janelle Monáe, and like
That's
I
all
don't
we
even
need.
care.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
all
even
right.
care what it is.
Samira Wiley.
Samira Wiley, yeah, that's a good
I could see
choice.
that. I could see that. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking up. I mean, no. I know we're thinking good people. We're thinking good people here, but I have somebody in mind. Okay, somebody can go next, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna circle back and have
You got
my
this.
answer. Thank you.
All right.
She said, "All right,
I'll go.
I got this.
I'll take a Christmas Carol. That is the Scrooge one, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a Janelle Monáe or someone
Oh,
who just like I
yes.
just want to see them like just kind of like realize that like I would just love to see that. Like I do love a Christmas Carol. And that is actually I mentioned Diva's Christmas Carol. It's the same thing as Christmas Carol, but just with the diva who's Vanessa Williams. So that film is kind of queer. But
So you're gonna
yeah.
put Vanessa Williams in it again?
No, she could actually be the like one of the ghosts or one of the ones who come to somebody. But yeah, I would love like either like a Janelle Monáe. I don't know who else could be a Scrooge.
Ooh, yeah, Vivica.
Vivica A.
Who-
Fox.
yeah,
is my
should
answer
be
for Whitney
should
Houston.
definitely. Oh,
Nice.
that's who you want as a
Yes, that's who I want.
I like
Vivica.
that.
She could
Okay.
do it.
Okay, could see that.
That's the energy that I want.
The Vivica A. Fox. Okay,
Mm. Or an Angela Bassett.
Oof.
I would prefer Angela.
Angela, actually, I feel like
Yeah,
take my
I would
answer back.
prefer
I'm going with
Angela.
Angela Bassett.
Vivica has said some things in the past. So yeah.
Angela Bassett with Whitney Houston,
Wow,
Preacher's Wife.
Okay.
that's beautiful.
Okay.
How classic do we have to go with these? Like
Just-
how classic?
Just
a
whatever you
film?
feel in your heart.
I'm not gonna lie. I would also like. I would really enjoy a queer elf.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Oh,
And I don't know who I would cast for what's her face's character, but I could 100% see I feel like Melissa Benoist could play
Zoe
could
Deschanel.
play- yeah, I don't know who I would replace Zoe with, but I feel like Melissa Benoist could play Will Ferrell elf
Nice.
character.
We love
That's
it.
all I'm gonna say. I'll throw that out.
Yeah. I feel like Kate McKinnon could also.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
She's wholesome.
Viola Davis as Scrooge. Someone said in the chat.
I
I can see it.
would
can
love
see it.
that
Yeah,
walk. Oh my God, her storm off.
Yeah.
She storms everywhere. Be so great.
Would be so
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, we did have another question though.
Okay, what's the other question?
Someone asked, "Am I a bad queer?" I was listening to the Disclosure ep of Bad Queers and was told to stop listening and go watch Disclosure. Stopped listening. It's been almost a year and still haven't watched. The answer is yes.
Well,
Yeah.
my question was, did you stop listening to the podcast altogether? Because if you did, then yes. That's well,
yes.
You know what you did. So that's all right.
that's-
You
yeah,
know what
that's-
you did.
But also, you should watch
You have
Disclosure.
some
to
homework.
see-
Yeah, I was gonna say double yes, but you should go watch Disclosure.
You should go
for
watch
sure.
Disclosure.
Yeah, that's
I love
very
that you
good.
said shame.
Yeah.
Shame, yes. I'm like, you know what? Own it.
Made
Yeah.
many
Own that.
mistakes.
It's okay.
But it's okay.
And then come back. And
We're
then come
actually
right back and
really
listen to
all
our
bad
episodes.
queers, so it's fine. You could always make your way home. You can
I
always.
stopped as a punishment
come
for
home.
not watching it yet.
That's funny. But no, for real, watch Disclosure. That was really good.
It's really
Love
good.
that.
It is. Do we have any other questions, or is that our finale? I think that's the finale, right?
That was finale.
That was beautiful.
This was great.
This was
This was
great.
We spent 2 hours
Oh.
talking about
Thanks, Mom.
every gay
We did
movie
great,
we
everyone.
possibly
We did great.
find.
Thanks,
So
Mom.
thank you.
Mama Carolyn, thanks
Yeah,
for tuning
thanks,
in.
Yes.
Mom.
Thank you so much to everyone who came. If you're in the audience listening to this not live, thank you for listening through this whole thing. And
Facts.
go make sure you watch all these movies, because the best thing to do to make sure we get more of these is to just keep watching them.
Gotta watch them. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank y'all. This was really fun. This is really fun.
So
I am
fun.
absolutely gonna watch 12 Dates of Christmas because it just sounds like chaos, and I want
Season
it.
2.
You
Season
have
2.
to.
Yeah, for sure.
Season 2. I
Yeah.
just need to make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah. Season, season 2. Okay.
Amanda truly is like one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
Literally.
You're
Oh,
just like,
wow.
what? This isn't real.
Out of control.
And she's queer in this?
Oh,
yes.
Oh.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Look, oh.
Like a little step.
What are you getting at here, Chris? What are you saying about us? I don't.
Chris is definitely diet stud vibes. Definitely diet stud.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, my voice is going up. Oh, okay.
Oh,
oh. All right.
Even more interested now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll check it out. Okay. All right. I love it. I love it.
Amazing.
Thank y'all. This was really fun. This was awesome.
Thank
fun.
you.
Thanks everybody for tuning in and
Yeah.
hanging out for a whole 2 hours.
Yeah.
Y'all stuck around.
And
especially
y'all
East
stuck around.
Coast and
That
You
number
did
has
it.
not
You made
fluctuated.
it.
Lena up
Lena
at like
in
4 or
Germany,
5 in the morning.
Like,
Champion. We
My
love all
gosh.
of you. Come and be sure to hang out with us. I'm sure we're gonna do like, hey, you can follow us here, but I'm gonna just go ahead and jump.
Yes.
You can follow us, both Chris and I, at Bad Queers Pod on all platforms. And if you search for Bad Queers anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can tune in. I was like, we've had these two lovely humans on our podcast before. We've been on their podcast before. This is not gonna be the last time that we collaborate. So
for sure.
feel
For
free to
sure
check
not.
us
Plus,
out.
someday we might actually like meet in Pernos. It's gonna happen.
One day.
Yes.
It's gonna
One
be
day.
the best day ever.
Yeah.
We have no
Someday.
clue what we look like below here.
Nope.
Literally no idea.
Do you even have legs? Who knows?
We'll
No
never
one
know.
knows.
We'll
No.
never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll never know. But yes, if you want to follow us as well, you can do that at Let's Hang Up Pod on all the platforms. You can follow me individually at Ellie Brigida on all of the things as well.
And you can follow me at LSH Foster also on just all of the things. Just all the things. We're on them.
Yes. Thank you all
Nice.
so much for listening. It's been a blast.
Bye, y'all. Take care. Happy holidays.
Let's hang out.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.